students, as we have discussed earlier that autonomic nervous system has main two systems, parasympathetic and sympathetic system. Drugs acting on parasympathetic system is divided into main two classes, which are parasympathomimetic and parasympatholytic, that we have already seen. Same, drugs acting on sympathetic system are classified into main two classes, which are sympathomimetic and sympatholytic. And in this video tutorial, we are going to see sympathomimetic drugs. Because sympathetic system is also known as adrenergic system, sympathomimetic agents are also known as adrenergic drugs. And the reason for that is the main major neurotransmitter for sympathetic system is noradrenaline, and that's why sympathetic system is also known as adrenergic system. And because of that, sympathomimetic agents are also known as adrenergic drugs. And as you know, the main effect of sympathetic system is inhibitory type. So, they relaxes muscles and reduces the secretions from various glands in our body. So, these adrenergic drugs are also known as muscle relaxants. And this is the first lecture of sympathomimetic agents or adrenergic drugs, or can say muscle relaxants. In this class, main 5 topics you have to study, which are introduction, classification, mechanism of action, uses and adverse effects of the adrenergic drugs. And in this first lecture, we are going to see introduction and classification of adrenergic drugs. And in next lecture, we will see mechanism of action, uses and adverse effects. So, let's start with the introduction of sympathomimetic agents or adrenergic drugs or muscle relaxants. Sympathomimetic agents, to mimic means mimicry. So, to mimic means to copy, mimicry means to copy, to mimic means to copy. So, sympathomimetic agents copy the actions of sympathetic nervous system, and that's why they are known as sympathomimetic agents. They copy, they mimic the actions of sympathetic system, and because of that, these agents are known as sympathomimetic agents. These sympathomimetic agents or adrenergic drugs produce action similar to that of sympathetic stimulation, and these are also known as adrenergic drugs. Functionally, sympathomimetic agents, which are also known as sympathomimetics. Sympathomimetics means sympathomimetic agents. Sympathomimetics are classified into main 3 classes: direct acting, indirect acting and mixed acting. And these classes are based on the action of these drugs on adrenergic receptors. In previous lecture, we have seen adrenergic receptors are mainly of 2 types, which are alpha receptors and beta receptors. So, direct acting sympathomimetic drugs can directly act on alpha and beta receptors, which means they can directly bind to alpha and beta receptors and causes excitation of sympathetic system. While indirect acting sympathomimetic drugs cannot bind with alpha or beta receptors. They cannot act directly on alpha and beta receptors, but they enhance availability of noradrenaline by various mechanisms. The actions produced by sympathetic system is because of its major neurotransmitter, which is noradrenaline, which means the actions are produced by noradrenaline. And indirect acting sympathomimetics do not bind with alpha and beta receptors, but they enhance availability of noradrenaline. So ultimately, action of noradrenaline is enhanced. So ultimately, sympathetic stimulation is enhanced. Sympathetic action is enhanced, and which is known as sympathomimetic. So second class is indirectly acting sympathomimetics, and third class is mixed acting sympathomimetics. They can produce sympathomimetic effect either directly or indirectly. They can either bind with alpha and beta receptors, which means adrenergic receptors, or they can also enhance availability of noradrenaline by other mechanisms. in detail these mechanisms we will see in mechanism of action. But these are the main classes of sympathomimetic agents, or can say adrenergic drugs are classified into in three classes. First one is direct acting adrenergic drugs, indirect acting adrenergic drugs, and mixed acting adrenergic drugs. Direct acting adrenergic drugs directly bind to alpha and beta receptors and causes their activation and produces sympathetic response. Indirect acting adrenergic drugs or indirectly acting sympathomimetics cannot bind directly with adrenergic receptors, which means they cannot bind directly with alpha and beta receptors, but they enhance availability of noradrenaline, so they enhance action produced by noradrenaline. And mixed acting can act either directly or indirectly. Now, we will see in detail subclasses of these main three classes: direct acting, indirectly acting, and mixed acting. First is direct acting sympathomimetics. And these direct acting sympathomimetics have 7 subclasses based on their action on alpha and beta receptors. First class is non-specific alpha and beta agonist. Means they can bind with all the types of alpha receptors and all the types of beta receptors. They are agonists of alpha and beta, all the types of alpha and beta. Here in sympathomimetic, the drugs are agonists of alpha and beta, while in sympatholytic, the drugs will be antagonists of alpha and beta. Agonist means they activate these receptors and produce their actions, while antagonist means these drugs binds with these receptors and block the action produced by these receptors, right? Agonist and antagonist. Agonist means they produce actions produced by these receptors by binding with them, and antagonist means they bind with these receptors but they oppose the action produced by these receptors. They block the action produced by these receptors. So here in sympathomimetics, the drugs are agonist of alpha and beta receptors, adrenergic receptors, and in sympatholytic we will see the drugs will be antagonist of adrenergic receptors. And in previous tutorial, we have seen that alpha receptors are mainly of 2 types, alpha 1 and alpha 2. And beta receptors are of 3 types, beta 1, beta 2 and beta 3. But beta 3 receptors have not much clinical actions. So, here the alpha 1, alpha 2 and beta 1, beta 2 will be, right? So, first subclass of direct acting sympathomimetics is non-specific alpha and beta agonist. Means these drugs can bind with all the types of alpha receptors and all the types of beta receptors. They are agonist of, right? Then non-specific alpha agonist means they are agonist of alpha 1 and alpha 2. That's why non-specific. Then non-specific beta agonist means they are agonist of beta 1 and beta 2. Then specific alpha 1 agonist means these drugs can only bind with alpha 1 receptors. They are the agonist of only alpha 1 receptors. Specifically alpha 1 agonist. Then specific alpha 2 agonist. Then specific beta 1 agonist and then specific beta 2 agonist. Right? The classification is very simple, but you have to remember the examples in these classes. Right? Non-specific alpha and beta agonist, then non-specific alpha, then non-specific beta agonist, then specific alpha 1, then specific alpha 2, then specific beta 1 and then specific beta 2. But you have to remember the examples in it. And in non-specific alpha and beta agonist, the adrenaline and noradrenaline, which are catecholamines, which are the neurotransmitters of sympathetic system, are non-specific alpha and beta agonist. Then in non-specific alpha agonist, nefazolin, oxymetazoline and xylometazoline. All these zolines means they contain imidazolin in their structure. Nefazolin, oxymetazoline and xylometazoline. Then in non-specific beta agonist, isoprenaline, which is also known as isoproterenol. In specific alpha 1 agonist, the drug is phenylephrine and methoxamine. In specific alpha 2 agonist, the drug is clonidine, methyl dopa, guanfacine and guanbens. In specific beta 1 agonist, the drugs are dobutamine and tazolol. And in specific beta 2 agonists, the drugs are salbutamol, terbutaline, and bietoletrol. These are the very famous drugs clinically used, and you can easily remember it by continuously practice it. Adrenaline, noradrenaline, then nefazolin, oxymetazoline, xylometazoline in non-specific beta isoprenaline, alpha-1, phenylephrine and methoxamine, alpha-2, clonidine, methyl-dopa, 1-clozine, 1-bens, beta-1, dobutamine and tazolol, and beta-2, salbutamol, terbutaline and bietoletrol. Now, structures. As you know, students, you have to show the minimum one structure in each subclass, right? So, the first subclass is non-specific alpha and beta agonist, and in that the examples are adrenaline and noradrenaline. And we have picked the structure of noradrenaline from that class. This is the structure of noradrenaline, and as we have discussed in the lecture of adrenergic neurotransmitters, that adrenergic neurotransmitters belong to the class catecholamines. Catecholamines. And catechol means orthodihydroxybenzene, right? This is the orthodihydroxybenzene ring, means catechol rings, and catechol ring containing ethylamine side chain. This is ethyl CH2 ethylamine side chain. This is catecholamines. All the adrenergic neurotransmitters belong to the class catecholamines. So this is the structure of catecholamine. And noradrenaline contains hydroxyl group on beta carbon. The carbon next to amine is known as alpha carbon, and the carbon next to alpha carbon is known as beta carbon. Right? So hydroxyl group on beta carbon. So this is the structure of noradrenaline. Then from the class non-specific alpha agonist, in that all the zolines are there, nefazolin, oxymetazoline, xylometazoline. We have picked the structure of nefazolin, and in that the parent ring is imidazoline ring. This is the 5-membered 2-nitrogen containing ring, is imidazoline ring. Then in non-specific beta agonist class, the only drug is isoprenaline, which is also known as isoproterenol. Here iso means, here isopropyl structure is there. Isopropyl function group is present in the structure of isoprenaline. So it is known as isoprenaline. And isopropyl means, propyl means CH3, CH2, CH3. This is known as propyl, but isopropyl means the substitution is at the middle carbon, is known as iso, right? Substitution is present at the middle carbon, so that propyl is known as isopropyl, and here C, the substitution is at the middle carbon, so this drug is known as isoprenaline. Then phenylephrine. Here very little difference is there in the structure of phenylephrine and noradrenaline. The main first difference is methyl group is present with, methyl substitution is present with amine group, and one hydroxyl group is removed from the structure of noradrenaline, gives the phenylephrine, right? Here, in noradrenaline, at the position 3 and 4, 2 hydroxyl groups are there. Here, in phenylephrine, the hydroxyl group from the carbon number 4 is removed, and methyl substitution on the amine, so there will be phenylephrine. And phenylephrine is the drug of the class non-specific alpha-1 agonist. Then non-specific alpha-2 in that clonidine, methyl-dopa, 1-thazine and 1-bens. And from that we have picked the structure of methyl-dopa. It is the similar to dopa, means dihydroxyphenylalanine. Dihydroxyphenylalanine. In the structure of dopa, dihydroxyphenylalanine, methyl substitution gives methyl dopa, right? Then specific beta 1 agonist, salbutamol and dobutamine. So this is the structure of dobutamine. Here larger bridge is between two benzene rings, and the last class is specific beta 2 agonists in the salbutamol terbutaline, and here in terbutaline tert-butyl is present, so it is known as terbutaline. So these are the structures of direct acting sympathomimetics, each structure from each class. Now moving towards the classification of indirect acting sympathomimetics. Here 6 subclasses are there. First one, which enhances the release of noradrenaline. Then direct vasoconstrictors means they do not need adrenergic receptors for vasoconstriction, but they produce direct vasoconstrictions. Then uptake 1 inhibitors and uptake 2 inhibitors. This is we have seen in neurochemistry of catecholamines, uptake of noradrenaline, and uptake 1 is known as neuronal uptake and uptake 2 is known as extraneuronal uptake. Right? So they inhibit the uptake of noradrenaline, and by inhibiting uptake, they enhance availability of noradrenaline. They enhance duration of action of noradrenaline. So noradrenaline will be available for longer duration. Then MAO inhibitors and COMT inhibitors. We have also seen that these are the main two enzymes responsible for the catabolism or metabolism of noradrenaline. By inhibiting these two enzymes, metabolism of noradrenaline is inhibited, and that's why noradrenaline will be available for longer duration of action, right? So by these mechanisms, these drugs enhance availability of noradrenaline. They enhance availability of noradrenaline. They indirectly gives the sympathomimetic response. They cannot directly bind with the adrenergic receptors, but they indirectly enhance the availability of noradrenaline. In noradrenaline release enhancers, the examples are amphetamine, hydroxyamphetamine, propylhexaridine, and tyramine. In direct vasoconstrictions, pseudoephedrine, then uptake 1 inhibitors, cocaine and desipramine, uptake 2 inhibitors, corticosteroids. MAO inhibitors are pergylene, phenelzine and selegiline, and COMT inhibitors are pyrogalol. Noradrenaline release enhancers are amphetamine, hydroxyamphetamine and propylhexaridine, and tyramine. Direct vasoconstrictor is pseudoephedrine. Uptake 1 inhibitors are cocaine and desipramine. Uptake 2 inhibitor is corticosteroids. MAO inhibitors are pergylene, phenelzine and selegiline, and COMT inhibitor is pyrogalol. First class, which is noradrenaline release enhancers, and in that hydroxyamphetamine. In the structure of amphetamine, hydroxy substitution gives hydroxyamphetamine. Then this is the structure of pseudoephedrine. Then uptake 1 inhibitor is propylhexaridine. Here saturated benzene, so hexaridine, and propyl 3 carbons are there, so propylhexaridine. Then the next example is pergylene. Here C triple bond C, H group is there, right? This group indicates C triple bond CH. And last one is pyrogalol. In pyrogalon, benzene containing 3 hydroxyl groups are present, right? So these are the structures of indirectly acting sympathomimetics. Third class is mixed acting sympathomimetics. There are no subclasses in this class, but the examples are ephedrine and metaraminol. Pseudoephedrine is in the indirectly acting sympathomimetics, while ephedrine is in the mixed acting sympathomimetics. This ephedrine and metaraminol produces their action either directly or indirectly. They can produce directly and indirectly. So they are included in the class mixed acting sympathomimetics, ephedrine and metaraminol, and this is the structure of ephedrine. Benzene ring, and with benzene ring CHOH, CH2CH3 and NHCH3 side chain is there. So this gives ephedrine. So this was the classification and structures of sympathomimetics. There are main three classes in the sympathomimetics: directly acting, indirectly acting, and mixed acting sympathomimetics. We have seen their examples and structures. In next lecture, we will see their mechanism of action, uses, and adverse effects. Thank you.